Algebra 1, Lab 2. In this lab, we are creating a table. Basically, we're going to be given an equation and different x values that we would like to see the y values for. So Lab 2 is found right after lesson 29 in the Algebra 1 book. And it says an equation describes a relationship between two quantities. Sometimes it's inconvenient to calculate a large quantity of outputs by substituting giving values into the equation. Instead, use your graphing calculator to quickly make a table of values. Find the y value for the equation y equals 3x plus 5 when x is 15, 45, 75, 105, and 135. So the first thing that we need to do is plug in this equation into our calculator. And we do that by going to the y equals button and then using 3x, the x can be found next to the alpha button, and then plus 5. Okay, this tells our calculator what equation we want, and then I can create a table by opening this up by doing second and then window. The reason that I do that is because I want this table set in blue, so I have to press the second button first and then the window button. And here, since I want the values 15, 45, 75, 105, and 135, I am going to start my table at the 15 that I want for x. And I'm jumping by 30s between each of my values. So I'm going to change my table. That little symbol, that triangle, is a symbol for change. So I change my table by 30s so that I can get the 15, 45, and so on. All right. The auto for independent and dependent is just fine like this. And then how to view this table, I'm going to use this blue table right here. So I do second and graph. This gives me a table of values, and you can see my x values as 15, 45, 75, 105, and 135. And corresponding to those are the y values. So 15 goes to 50, 45 to 140, and so on and so forth. So we can continue to get more and more values by going backwards, so into the negatives, or forwards into the much higher numbers. So you can get whatever values you want here, even up to, well, whatever you want. In our lab, it asks us for x being 405. Well, we get a y of 1,220. So with this lab, you can do lots of different table setups for this. So say you have a different equation like negative 2x minus 3. And let's say we want to set up our table and it starts at negative 5 and just goes up by 1. Okay, something that will give us a just the beginning of our graph, maybe something that you would want to actually put on a coordinate plane. And then we see our table by doing second graph. And now we can see what the table would look like from negative 5 going up just by 1s. Okay, you can do this with any table setup and any equation for this. All right, so hopefully you learned a little bit more about graphing your equations and seeing a table from them from lab number 2.